Good evening, folks. Welcome back to another Wednesday night hobby hangout. How's everybody doing? How's your week going? Hope everybody's having a nice Wednesday so far. Or if you're over in Australia, I hope your Thursday is looking pretty good. We've got a nice little crowd in, nice and early tonight. We'll catch up on the chat in a second. But for those that aren't, I'm just checking myself out on the screen there, make sure everything was working. For those that don't know, tonight I am painting some Malifaux stuff. I'll show you what I'm painting tonight very soon. But it is also the Malifaux painting challenge. Do I see the final of it? Basically, we're going to show them off tonight. It's the showcase tonight. So yesterday was the cut-off point. Everybody that completed the May challenge, which was Malifaux, as for Malifaux. And the idea was, basically, if you don't know what that was, we often have these kind of painting challenges on this channel. And the idea was just to complete something. I don't like to do painting competitions. I think that's unfair on people who are maybe just starting out, or maybe competitive painting isn't their thing. And it always favours the people that are just better painters. What I'm trying to do is motivate people just to paint more. Just to kind of, doesn't matter where you are in your hobby journey, you've got a little bit of a challenge just to kind of like say, right, I'm going to try and get a crew painted in May and into the first week of June. And I think that's good enough. And then all I'll do is today I'll show off all the ones where people submitted them, where they completed the challenge, and then we'll randomly draw a winner, and they will get an exclusive, never before seen, never to be seen again, BlackJack Legacy Malifaux challenge mug sent to them, courtesy of me. So without further ado, let's have a look and see who we've got in the chat this evening. We have got Peter Nicholas, nice and early. Hello to you, mate. He says, hello, fellow hobbyists. I'm nice and early tonight, so I'm sat front and centre. I've now got this image in my head of you all, and I have read a bit further down the chat for those of you who had your eye on my 3D printer. I can just kind of see you like all like sitting there, just like kids in a classroom at school. Tolmart, hello to you, mate. Have you found the loo yet? Marcus Super Pumpkin Man, hello to you as well. We've also got Lord Maiden. Hello, Ian. How are you doing? Connor's in. Good evening to you. Says, hope we're doing all right. I'm doing very well, thanks, mate. Hope you are too. We've got Mark Wright in. Good evening to you, mate. Ortega says, looking forward to seeing everyone's painted miniatures tonight. Tonight's the first time I've gone and looked at them all. As the emails come in, I tend not to kind of go over them. So I apologise. I've been reading all of the emails today. So for those of you that have kind of like sent a nice little message in the email and said like, hello, how you doing, kind of thing, I apologise for not replying. But I've basically got it set up so anything with Malifaux in the title basically gets sent straight into that Malifaux file. And then I knew where everything was today when I started compiling them. So thank you for your nice messages. Should start reading them more often. But yeah, that's what I've been doing. Where else are we? Tom Mark weighing up whether to steal my Elegoo Mars or my Elegoo Neptune. Can you please take the Mars, mate? The Neptune is about sort of 10 hours into a print. I'd rather you didn't take that one. We've got Nigel Jones. Hello to you, fella. We've also got Blizzards. Blizzards, the Malifaux painting machine. I think he's managed to do about 10 teams or something like that, or 10 crew boxes. We've also got, where was it? Peter Kuhlman. Good evening to you, sir. Then he's painting his Blitzkrieg Germans this evening. Nicely done. We've got Rocky Mountain Air. Afternoon, good evening to you. We've also got, if I scroll down a little bit further, Busey's in. Nice to see you, mate. It says evening hobby hooligans. We've got Ice Moon in as well. Hello. Have I just seen you? I just saw your name come up. Manny, I don't think I ever put two and two together, mate, and realised that you were. This is what happens when everybody's got different names in different groups. Sorry, buddy, if I've kind of sort of not realised that before, I apologise. We've got Jill in as well. Nice to see you, Jill, as well. Happy belated birthday for this week. Yoakum's in. Said he's found some time for painting. Is it zombies or skeletons? I'd always go zombies personally, but I do know that there's a bit of love for the bony boys a little bit further down here. Blizzard's asking what everybody else has got on the hobby table at night. He's got a trio of cornate spiky boys and their doggo from Warhammer Underworld almost done. Let's have a look here. Tom Martin was trying to buy All Out War on Amazon, but they don't have the core set. Go to Goblin Games, mate, and use my affiliate link. There's a link to it in the description down here. You'll probably get 20% off the price, and I make a small commission for sending you there. I might as well plug it while I'm here. Where else are we up to here? Lord Maiden saying he's painting another miniature. This thing will never end. I know what you mean. Stu Hayes, nice to see you in, mate. Andrew Pell, good evening to you. Robert Cook is in as well. There's a few names. I've just been reading all their emails tonight. We got Martin in as well. Nice to see you, Mort. How you doing? Scott Longworth's in as well. Hello. Bobby Clark's been painting hazard stripes on a night. I bet they're absolutely perfect as well, mate. I know what you're painting like. John Estelle, good evening to you, fella. Lost his brush soap. And that reminds me, actually, I need to buy some more. I'm getting really low on mine. Paul Inman, good evening, sir. How are you? Maladjusted Quest, good afternoon, all says. Maladjusted Quest, first of all, welcome to the chat. Second of all, what an absolutely awesome name. We've got Brandon in as well. Says, back into the hobby after 15 years. You convinced me to get Warcry, and I'm loving it. I wanted to say thanks. Thank you very much, Brandon. Welcome to the chat this evening, and I'm really glad that you're loving being back into wargaming as well. No matter what the game is, I'm glad that you're enjoying it. Paul said just a bit of tidying, but he's going to be sitting down to finish off some battle systems buildings. ZB says, "Hey boss." Hello there, ZB. Miniature Adventures says, "Hello, you handsome devil. There is nothing wrong with your eyes." Thank you very much. Rob Gates, good evening to you, sir. So was nearly tempted to paint a warband. Next time, mate. Michael Cowan says he's watching Loki. Or don't tell me anything about it, mate. I'm getting ready to watch it myself as well. Rocky Mountain is working on some 3D printed airships for a D&D 5th edition campaign. Nice one. Stuart Murphy as well. Chilling out on a Wednesday hangout. Of course, mate, of course. Derek Hodge, good evening to you. Getting transfers on Roman shields this evening. Tolmar says, what are you printing? I am printing off a coffee shop from Corvus Games Terrain. I'm not sponsored by Corvus Games Terrain. I've paid for these files myself with my own hard-earned money, but I would heartily recommend them. If you're into 3D printing, especially the PLA stuff, they have some fantastic stuff. And it's kind of multi-purpose, so I'm going to use it for some Walking Dead stuff that I'm going to be covering in the near future, and also some Marvel Crisis Protocol, which I kind of got as a little side project, nothing to do with the channel, just for my own little bit of my own bit of hobby in the background, so that I've got something that isn't work. It really is just hobby, because I paint so much to go into the channel that it blurs the line between have I finished working for the day, or am I still painting something that's work. But I've got something that is just for me. I'm not going to do any coverage on it, or I'm not planning to anyway. It's just a little bit of hobby for me. Where are we up to? Martin, Walking Dead's been out of stock for a couple of months. We'll be back in stock at the end of June. Thank you, Martin, for that, mate. Ghost Winters, good evening to you. How are you doing, fella? This is Malifaux. Here we go. Miniature Adventures has finally painted all the Walking Dead up to prison expansion. Your Walker paint guide helped a lot. You are very welcome. My painting, I'm not going to win any awards for my painting, but I've learned a few shortcuts over the years, and I think there's a lot of painting tutorials on YouTube which are aimed at people trying to step up to the next level, a bit more advanced. There's not a lot for people just getting started kind of painting, and I kind of figure that's kind of where my sweet spot is. I can show you a few kind of dry brushes and washes to get you kind of something on the table relatively quickly. So yeah, thanks, mate. VJ, good morning to you, lad. How are you doing? Scott says, what's the next painting challenge? I haven't thought that far ahead yet, mate. I'm considering with the summer campaign coming up again for Kings of War, considering a little cheeky Kings of War one again, to be honest. VJ says, yeah, shush on Loki. You have to wait until the missus gets home from work. Eisenhorn, good evening to you, sir, as well. Ruas is in as well. Relax. It is so relaxing with your live streams after a hard day at work. Keep up the good work, buddy. Thank you very much. That is very, very kind of you, mate. Scott said it's the cost of Marvel Crisis Protocol starter that's putting me off. I didn't think it was too expensive, mate. I mean, it's £100 or something like that. But I picked it up for like 65, like brand new in a shop online. And for 65 quid, you get all that plastic terrain in it. You get 10 characters in it. I don't think it's bad value at that price, mate. Yeah. Eisenhorn says, have you seen Aliens? Another glorious day in the corpse. I have seen it, mate. I'm aware of it. I've heard nothing but good stuff about it. I've just not played it yet, to be honest. Blizzard saying, what no Juni 4 challenge. Dan Kennedy says, evening all, just got in from work, looking forward to seeing everyone's models. Scott says, PM me which shop. It was Zatu Games, mate. I'm not affiliated with them or anything like that. I think it was like £65 or £67. That was where I got it from. So yeah, and it came like, did it come the next day as well for that price? And I think that was by far the cheapest I found anywhere else. So I've got it all built. I've got it all primed. I painted red hood the other day. So yeah, that one's looking good. Right, I'll tell you what we'll do is, now we've kind of caught up with everything there in the chat, we've got a nice little crowd, and I'll show you what I'm painting tonight. We've got like 3 different cameras on the go tonight, so I'm hoping technology is kind to us. But tonight I'm going to be painting some more of the Explorer Society, and this is English Ivan. This comes from the English Ivan core box. And English Ivan is neither English nor called Ivan, surprisingly, but he's a bit of a kind of suspicious character, as a lot of the Explorers Society are. But yeah, I just really like this. I've primed this today, black, with I got sent a kind of like a care package type thing of sort of random hobby bits and pieces from a company called Colourforge. I think there's something to do with the Outpost in Sheffield, and they sent me an email saying, we'd like to send you a we'd like to send you a box of some random bits and pieces. Just try them out, see what you think about them, and if you like them, can you kind of like can you share the love a little bit? So they sent me a black spray primer, which is matte black, and I used it today on these miniatures, and it is by far the most matte black spray I have ever used. It goes on really, really nice, and to be honest, it's so nice, I'm seriously considering just always using that for priming my miniatures, because it's so much faster than the airbrush, and the quality of the finish is excellent. So yeah, I heartily recommend the matte black spray from Colourforge. I think you can buy it at a number of different places now, but unfortunately I can't send you through my Goblin Gaming affiliate link, because Goblin Gaming don't sell it yet. But yeah, like Firestone Games have got it, the Outpost have got it. I think there's a few different places sell it now. So yeah, and then all I did was I just very lightly dry brushed this kind of over and over again. I dry brushed it white just to kind of pick out the bits, because if I had a matte black model on a black background, you lot wouldn't see it. So yeah, so that's the first one. So that's English Ivan. I think he's the one we're going to be working on a little bit tonight. And then in the same crew box with English Ivan is Mr. Moodrake, which is a really kind of weird, spooky looking guy. You can kind of see coming out the back of his trousers there, out the feet, out the legs. He kind of got weird kind of tendril type things. Yeah, he is pretty good. He's got I'm not going to I've got the camera set on like thick as zoom tonight, just so it doesn't keep going blurry. But he's got like a little moustache and stuff like that. But he's a bit kind of like sort of spectral. But yeah, the model's a lovely pose on that one. We've also got, forget what this one's called now. I'm sure did I have the thing up a second ago? Eva Haven, is it Haven? Eva Havenhand is her name. Again, yeah, they're fantastic quality, these Malifaux miniatures, and I'm sure most of you already know this, because you're all in here looking for the Malifaux stuff anyway. So, but yeah, absolutely fantastic quality. I mean, there's a whip on there as well, but it's nice and flexible. That's not coming off anytime soon. But yeah, that's Eva. We've also got this gentleman here, who, if I remember his name as well, is Gibson DeWalt. And he's got some kind of like mechanical machine in his hands here. There's obviously a bit of a draft. They've all got flowing capes here, or flowing coats, they're dusters. Again, really, really nice quality. And then we have these fellas as well, which are kind of, they're called Dava or something like that. I can't see the word from here. I think I went a little bit overboard on the dry brushing on this bit here, so I think I might need to redo this one. But yeah, very kind of, there's something really creepy about those extra long arms. The rest of them just looks like a bit like an Undertaker type thing, but those super long arms and hands, there's just something really creepy about it. You certainly wouldn't want to meet him in a dark alley, that's for sure. And then you've also got another one of those. There's 3 of these Dava things, or whatever they're called. Slender Man, yeah, a bit like that, mate. Yeah, exactly. Again, these are just primed black and a bit of a light kind of repetitive dry brush of white. That's the one. And then the last one from this set is this fella as well, he's got a little bit of a kind of like Nosferatu kind of like weirdly big ears and a bit of a kind of hook nose. And again, he's got them massive hands as well. So yeah, so this is the English Ivan box set. So this is what we're going to be painting this evening. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a start. Let me just very quickly catch up in the chat here before we go. Stu saying, I love the Explorer Society set. Awesome models. Yeah, I like these ones as well, mate. Yeah. Andrew saying, yeah, English Ivan. Derek saying, trouble with Crisis Protocol is the price of the expansions, which you'll want unless you don't like the game. Yeah, I mean, they're not the cheapest, but by the same stretch, they're not like everything is optional because there's no, like, you can pretty much play whatever you want. Just intend to buy the ones I like the look of and just kind of paint those really. And even if I do want more of them, like, I can only buy the ones I can afford. So I still think it's cheaper than, like, compare it to Warhammer 40k or any mass battle type stuff. It's still cheaper to field a team, and you only really play with about 6 models anyway. For all you have a kind of like a roster of 10. But yeah. If I enjoy it, I'm going to paint up the core box. I'm playing my first game on Saturday. If I enjoy it, then I'll add to it down the line. But they're not cheap, but there's plenty of places online got discount with them now. So they're down to like sort of like 20 something pound a box, and there's generally 2 models in them. So yeah, that's not too bad, I suppose. Jill says she hasn't got any plans for the next couple of days after getting the jab. Yeah, that's the worst way to do it. Peter saying the on tendrils, Mr. Moondrake is about to go skiing. When he says he's friendly little gamer store, hello Tony mate. He says he stocks the Colour Forge stuff, so I have some on order after Andy's recommendation, as I've been looking for a primer that gives a smooth and matte finish. Yeah, it's in fact, can I just reach this model here? So this one is one that I did earlier in true Blue Peter style. Let me just not smash these up, which I have. I've just knocked it against my laptop and snapped something brilliant. Where are we at? This one. So this, I mean, it's obviously going to be very difficult to see, but hopefully with all of these lights on it, you can see that there's no shine coming off that. I mean, I've got a light here, and you can see it on my hand there. If I can move that, you can see there's a light against that. There's a light under here as well. See that? And there's no shine at all on this. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with just how matte that is. So yeah, I've just knocked it over, and the fire on the on English Ivan there just sort of clipped against the corner of my laptop. So we might not be painting English Ivan tonight. We might be repairing him tomorrow, but we'll paint something else. Right, let's have a little quick look here. BJ says certainly looks drafty wherever they are. It does a bit, doesn't it? Danzig Leogards is my favourite painting accessory. Yeah, I do like these. I'm assuming that's what you mean at these things. Andrew said, afternoon Andy, got loads primed this morning, would prime more, but it's over 100 degrees Fahrenheit. What's that? That's got to be at least about 31, 32 Celsius. No more spraying. ZB says, do you think home 3D printing is worth it just for personal use? No intention to sell anything. I do personally, mate, but then I suppose my personal use is maybe a bit more than most with terrain for channel stuff and things like that. But the resin printer, I'm loving it just for printing bases. All of these bases on these things, let me just flick back over. All of these bases on here are all 3D printed sort of base toppers. These are the Malifaux bases, and I've just printed some little base inserts and some little toppers. All of these are 3D printed on a resin printer. But yeah, for me personally, I think it is, but it depends. I think it's kind of weigh up the options of what you're going to use it for. Jill says, is it easy to find suitably skilled terrain for Marvel Crisis Protocol? It's a bigger scale, right? It's slightly bigger, but in comparison to something like Wild West Exodus, which like models are generally getting bigger, so even the Marvel ones are not massively out of scale with like Wild West Exodus and Lost World Exodus and that kind of stuff. 3D printed stuff you just increase the scale of it a little bit, so maybe about 10-15% bigger. You just do that in the software before you print it off, so it's not really a problem for that kind of stuff. Where are we going? Yeah, right, okay. So what we'll do is, yeah, what was that one? I've just seen something there. English Ivan, may he rest in pieces. We'll easily sort that one out. Let's not worry about it. It's because I've got my laptop. My laptop's got like a metal kind of like, it's a metal frame type thing, and it's just as I knocked it over, it just kind of pinged right on the corner of it. Nice one. Right. What I'm gonna do is then, if I can shrink these down, we will switch over to this button. Everything's working well so far. And what we're going to do is, these are the entries. These are everybody's things. Some people did multiple factions, but I'm just going to go down the list. These are in alphabetical order, starting with people's first names. And we had 13 entries. So we'll do a random number draw at the end of this. But yeah, so we'll start with Aaron Walker. And Aaron, what I said to my Patreons as well, I should just clarify, or said my Patreons is, because they're Patreons and they kind of, they're the ones that support me to kind of keep the lights on every month, keep this channel independent, so I don't have to do kind of sponsored videos and stuff like that. If they didn't want to paint a Malifaux crew, they could paint whatever they like as long as it was a crew, and the idea was just to motivate them to paint something. Now, Aaron did paint Malifaux crew, but he also painted some Infinity stuff as well. So he started with Misaki from the 10 Thunders. So let's we'll put. So yes, I've had to go through and make sure I knew who all these different factions were, because I don't know them all off by heart. But yeah, I really like the bright colours here. Lovely use of the blue. I'm not sure if it's kind of, I'd probably take a guess this is potentially contrast Talassar blue, which is probably my favourite contrast colour, which is why it stands out to me. But yeah, that blue and the yellow together looks really, really nice. And Aaron's done a great job of that as well. So yeah, Misaki's part of the 10 Thunders. It's kind of like a sort of Chinese crime syndicate type thing, which is pretty cool. Anyway, I can do no, I have to press the escape button to come off that one. And we might as well show his Infinity crew off as well while we're here. So yeah, if you like a bit of Infinity, there's some very nicely done models as well. So thank you very much for completing the challenge, sir. Nice to see you in the hat, so to speak. Andrew Pell, who's in the chat tonight as well, he's done 2 crews. So yeah, people have really, those that have completed this have really kind of like played up to it as well. So this is Jack Daw from the faction of the Resurrectionists. I can't remember all the names of all the different characters, but this is one that I actually really do like. The guy in the electric chair at the back here as well. Love the orange jumpsuit. Really does kind of look nice. And it's also, for all their very slightly different kind of like, obviously different sculpts and different like sort of aesthetics, even just painting all the bases the same colour really pulls them together as a crew as well. But I do like Jack Daw himself with the rope swing around him. The guy on the gurney there at the back as well. There's one here as well on this kind of like on this cross, and I think if I remember right, there's a one she's taking. This is the one, so you can kind of see it a little bit more kind of in focus. The ones at the front here with Jack Daw. Not sure who this is. This guy on the cross as well with his it looks like his head's being pulled off and his arms being dismembered. Malifaux is nothing if not a bit bloody. So yes, they're looking pretty nice. He also did a Sonia Crid crew as well. Sonia Crid from the Guild. And I'm sure these are called the Witchling Stalkers. These ones at the front here. Little coffin there as well. And I forget his name now, but Sonia Crid was one of the factions that when I first started playing, my friend used to play Sonia Crid, so I used to play against them quite a lot back in the day. But yeah, very nicely done. Love the colour use here. Love the shading, and I love the kind of like dirtiness as well around the bases here where it was being dragged through the mud and stuff. Really nice bit of texture in there. And then he's also done this. So this is a model for a game called The Other Side, which is also by the people that make Malifaux, Weird Games. And it's kind of set in the same universe with kind of like Malifaux and Earth, but the other side is set on Earth, and all of these monsters and things are coming through the breach onto the Earth, as opposed to Malifaux, which is set through the breach in Malifaux. And this is for a faction called the King's Empire, and this is like a massive big kind of mechanical behemoth called the King's Hand. So very nice, mate. I thought I'd include it as well just because I liked it. So yeah, nice bit of work there too, mate. Blizzard's again, he submitted 3 different factions he's been working on as well. So one of them was this one, Lucas McCabe, from the 10 Thunders faction. I love this this horse. I also love the basing that you've done as well, mate. I think the cracked earth works really, really well with this, and I quite like the split bases as well. It's not something you see very often, unless it's got a specific kind of like sort of like action in game or something like that. But I really do like these coloured bases, mate. Yeah, nice work, mate. Very, very nice work there. He also did a Dreamer crew as well. So this is for the Neverborn faction. I think if I remember right, this is maybe this. I want to say this is Malifaux first edition sculpt, but I could be wrong. It could be second edition. So yeah, we've got the Dreamer here, who's a little boy who basically has these kind of dreams, which are nightmares, and these are the creatures that come up in his nightmare and basically come to life in Malifaux. So we've got Capellius here, and we've also got Teddy at the back. We've also got a Lord Chompy-Bit as well. But yeah, really, really nice, mate. Here we can see them a little bit nicer. Even just kind of the carving of like Teddy into the floorboards here, the little cubes as well. Very, very nice, mate. Very nice. We've then got. I don't think these are not Nephilim. I forget what these are called now. But yeah, we've got the these on the base. Well, the wooden bases look really real. I don't know if you've used proper wood for them, like little coffee stirrers or something. But they do look excellent. And then we've obviously got these little nightmare things as well. Awesome, mate. I love the way it's all pulled together as well with those cubes on the ground. And then we've got Capellius there, very nice. And then we have the Dreamer and Lord Chompy-Bits as well, just to give you an idea of the size difference between the two. Yeah, very nicely done. I must admit as well, I'm not. Let me get the chat up on my phone as well, because I'm not. Can't read the chat on my computer while I'm also. There we go. The sounds turned down. At least I can keep it on the chat as well. Yeah, Dreamer. That one's second edition. Hello, Play Weird. By the way, nice to see you in. I couldn't remember if it was first or second edition. I knew it definitely wasn't the third one. And Blizzard saying, yeah, coffee stirrers, barely together. Blocks on Chompy spells. Chompy, by the way, obviously I read them in the wrong order, so it was hard to see that bit. Thank you very much. I should have had the chat up before. And then he's also done a Hamlin crew as well for the Outcasts here. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit because I think this is probably my favourite of the 3, if I'm perfectly honest. But yeah, Hamlin, obviously Pied Piper of Hamlin with the rats and stuff like that, gives you an idea. Again, I remember playing against this as well when Hamlin first came out in first edition as well. I've not played against it for a number of years. But yeah, some really nice finish. The yellow bases just really set it off and pull it together as well. Love the these base inserts. I assume these might also be kind of hand sculpted as well, potentially. So yeah, very, very nice looking, mate. Paint those rats as well. It's the kind of thing where it's dead easy just to stick some brown paint on them, but you've gone to town with the basin as well, mate, which has really set it off. Is the dog called Nix as well? Do I remember that? Is that right? Capellius says, I see you. I like that as well, mate. Yeah, so a certain Mr. Blizzard's in the chat tonight has been smashing through these. And I think the best bit is, I think he sent me them all like within 2 weeks or something like that. So yeah, he's definitely done loads. We've got Sherry Smith here as well, who's done a Perdita crew. So yeah, she did send me a picture just to show that they weren't done beforehand. And then here is the main crew as well. So in fact, let me just I come out of there. We zoom in a little bit. We'll be able to see them a bit better. I can move these around the screen. So yeah, Perdita Ortega with the Ortega family as well. Is it Ebola Ortega? Santiago Ortega, I think it is as well. Yeah, please, I'll look in it. Pretty swish as well. Love what you've done here on the sombrero, and the little bit of kind of detail as well around the back of the jacket. Very, very nicely done. Thank you very much, Sherry, and yeah, thanks for joining in as well. I think potentially, Sherry, I think there's part of the Malifaux Facebook group as well where I posted this, so it was nice to see some folks entering from there as well. Dan Kennedy, he's been doing Shenlong from the 10 Thunders. Now, I saw these in our Patreon group as well, and these were super nice. They're super clean. I love the yellows. Is an awkward colour to paint. It's difficult to shade. It's difficult to highlight without it looking a bit powdery and a bit dry. But he has absolutely nailed these ones as well. I'm just reading ahead in the chat as well a little bit as well. Yeah, so these are really nice, mate. Let me just zoom in a little bit and show them off. You can see the highlight in that on them. He's done a smashing job. Yes, that's come out of that one. The next ones as well. Skin tone on these is lovely as well. I love the really peeled skin to it. These guys haven't had a bit of sun for a while, that's for sure. But yeah, it's very nice. Love the basin as well. Not sure where the basin's from. Is it? I don't know if Dan's in the chat tonight. Is it? I don't know if these are kind of 3D printed, if they're sculpted or what, but they look really nice, and they definitely fit with the theme of the crew. And then, yeah, lovely bit of highlighting on the skin there as well. Very nicely done, mate. I'm going to have to pick your brains and see how you did this yellow as well, because it looks super nice. So, that... Oh, and there's the... I missed the money shot there, didn't I, as well? Just getting the crew together as well. It looks really nice. There's just something about carrying, like, one colour across a faction like that. I just love how it stands out. So, yeah, nicely done. Ian Pennells, Lord Maiden in the chat tonight as well. He did 3 crews as well. Thank you very much, mate. John saying Dan's an amazing painter. Yeah, he definitely is, mate. Lady Justice from the Guild faction here as well. Love the use of the colours here as well. The flames look spectacular. Really nice, mate. And Lady Justice crew has always been a favourite of mine as well. When I first got back into Malifaux 3rd edition, Lady Justice was the crew that I picked up for myself and the first one that I painted. So yeah, you're in good company, mate. Really nice work here. And we've got a few other shots as well. I forget what these ones are now, because I think I've just wrote it down. I think I've just thought them down the same. I forget what they are now, but I'm sure somebody in the chat will remind me. But yeah, super nice. Love the red as well, the way the red carries through the whole faction as well. And yeah, there's the whole gang together, ready to go. Lord Baden saying the flowers are white. The only thing that should be white on those models. Very nice, man. I love the flowers. I need to buy some of those little flowers for the basin. It's something I always look at and think they look great, but I must admit I always forget to buy them. Nice work, mate. Thank you very much for joining that one. And then we've also got here... did I forget? I forgot to go through and write down what these ones are now. This one looking awesome. Very nice work there. Again, I remember when you were posting about the flames and stuff like that, mate. Really nice. Really nice work on the flames. The cat there as well. Hiding in the long grass. Nicely done. A bit of detail there on the collar as well. Got more patience than I have, that's for sure. Nice bit of work on this one as well. Love that green colour. And the kind of like the, what do you call them, like the hair tie as well. Nice work on this one. The basin definitely helps set them off as well. Nice work. Purple flame as well there, carrying on there through the faction. Looks really nice. I must admit, I'm not familiar with this at all. Yeah, it looks awesome, mate. Nice work. And there we are as well, the crew all together, the gang back together. And then for his third one, which he even offered up to somebody else, was a Rasputina Arcanists faction as well. I think Cult of December, I think this one is as well. But yeah, super nice. This is a crew box that I really like myself. I think at some point I'll have to pick this up for myself, because I really do like it. But yeah, got some ice golems in there as well. Love this kind of like mechanical horse type thing as well. It's really nice. Nicely finished. I love these kind of the blues that you've used as well. And then we've got these as well. These little kind of saber-tooth things at the front. Nice work. And then again, there's the shot of them all together. Lord Main saying the Death Marshal crew is themed. The flowers are white to represent that they're no longer pure injustice. I like the thought behind it. That's the thing I kind of miss, because people, when they email me the pictures, they tend to put little notes and stuff in them as well, and I always forget what they've written by the time I get to this. So I'll have to start making some notes next time, I think. So Ian, thank you very much, mate. Nicely done. We've got Mark Coley, who's got a Lilith crew in here as well from Neverborn. Some lovely use of colours. Really nice on the basing as well, with the checkerboard bases and the and the blood splatter as well. Super nice. And let me just zoom in a little bit, because I think these deserve to be kind of shown off a little bit as well, because when you see them a bit small, they look a bit purple, but actually just there's a lot of detail on them as well. Love what you've done with the orange eyes there as well, and the blood on the blades as well. Doesn't look quite so cute, does it? That little cherub there. And there's Lilith as well. Very nice. Very nice. Nice clean job to that as well. Thanks, Mark. Thank you for entering this. We've got Mr. Thirlwell as well, who's in the chat tonight with his Lady Justice crew. Martin is a really, really, really good painter. And I must admit, I'm... again, as I said, I love this faction anyway, but I love what you've done with it. And also as well, I might need to come to you for some lessons on how to paint eyes. That's the other thing as well. But yeah, super nice, mate. Really like it. Love the green flames. I think I went with like a kind of like a pale blue flames for mine, but I love the green flames. Love the just everything about it, mate. Basin's fantastic. Love what you've done, mate. Super work, Mr. Thurwell. And that, I also should add as well, that's Martin's first Malifaux crew. So yeah, hopefully not the last either. We've also got here, we've got Ortega, who's done Lord Cooper in the Explorer Society. So I think also in this is the On the Hunt expansion as well. So we've got a few extra models in this as well. I've kind of been expanding my Explorer Society crew as well. So yeah, it's nice to see these. The other thing as well I should just add before I kind of go on as well is I think there's only been one crew that's been kind of done by multiple people. It just shows how really nice all of the different crews and all the different boxes are in Malifaux. People are picking up lots of different stuff. It's not like there's that one crew that stands out and everybody buys it. There's such a nice mix of stuff coming through in it, and I really love to see that. It's not like it kind of like some games you basically just get everybody paints the same stuff. Malifaux's not like that because it's all good. We come across to here as well. So this one, got Lord Cooper himself here in the middle, and they have his mechanical leg and his mechanical arm, and Cigar just kind of very casually just like, yeah, see if I can get myself one of those Malosaurus Rexes. Very nice work. Love that. Love the colour, the green as well, carrying across the faction. And there we've got, I always forget if this is Ulla or the other dog. I forget which is which now, but yeah, those dogs are fantastic sculpts for the size of them as well. So yes, another nice crew there. Mr. Nicholas, we've got a Lady Justice crew here as well. Peter kind of has been really working on this for a while as well. This was a little bit of a kick to get him to go back and paint this. He said he'd had it kind of tucked away for ages. Decided to go back and paint it. But yeah, very, very nice work, mate. Love what you've done here with the flames, the flames as well on the Death Marshals. Super nice. Love the older school Scales of Justice model as well, and Lady Justice here in a power pose. I've got the first edition Lady Justice model, and the third edition. I must admit, I don't have this second edition. And then here as well, we can see another couple of shots of them as well. Love this crew. Really, really nice, mate. Well done, Peter, as well. I know you really had to kind of stick at it to kind of get this one done. So nice work, mate. What's this one? VJ saying here, maybe that's because Weird doesn't ram one faction down your throat. It might be that, mate, as well, to be fair. But yeah, I mean, they're just all. It's really, when somebody says which one would you recommend to start with, my recommendation is always just have a look at them and pick the one you like, because they're all awesome. And there's enough different aesthetics that there's always something that you'll like. I do like these second edition sculpts as well of these kind of Death Marshals jumping around off these coffins. Very nice, mate. Very nice. Thank you. We got Robert Cook. He's going to shame us with the Resurrectionists here. Just zoom it in a little bit as well so I can show these off, because these are very, very nicely done as well. Love these, even like the little bit of kind of like the rust or blood or whatever it is on the scissors there, the flowers on the basin. Love the shading and stuff. I'm a big fan of this kind of it's the Red Chapel Gang, isn't it? I think Sybil in the background there, and these zombie ladies as well. Very, very nice, mate. Here we can see the ones at the back there in a little bit more detail as well. Love the kind of like the rotten flesh shading as well on their skin. It looks really nice. And again, good use of the basin as well on the flowers. Really love those, mate. And see here as well. Zoom in one of these. Just it's got like a really nice style of the paint, and it's just there's something really nice about it. I love the contrast in the colours. I'm a big fan of kind of sort of eye-catching kind of extreme changes in colour. Almost, I wouldn't say cartoony because that sounds kind of disrespectful, but just to it's like almost like to give the impression of a real contrast. And I think when you're looking at something on a tabletop that's like sort of 2 foot away, it's stuff like that really stands out, and I love the look of it. And we got this little fella as well, just kind of leaping across his blades there as well. Very nice. Thank you very much, Robert. I know you're in the chat there tonight as well. Scott Webster. Scott, another Malifaux fan. This one is the Nakima from the Neverborn faction. I've actually got this crew to paint up as well. I've got a built-in prime, but I must admit I've not taken a brush to it yet. We'll just zoom in a little bit here as well. And then we've got the Nephilim there as well. Very, very nice, mate. Nicely finished. I also like the way as well. Scott always manages to put like a nice background as well, which kind of sets the stuff off. So nicely done. And he also did Brine and Bones, which is a resurrectionist faction, but every year Malifaux do kind of like a limited edition Nightmare edition, and this is like an alternate sculpt for the Molly Squidpidge faction set, and it's basically called Brine and Bones, this is their kind of like their skeleton pirate one, and yeah, it looks super nice. I always forget to pick. I started to pick up some of those limited edition boxes now, but I must admit there's some older ones. Like there's a Lady Justice Nightmare edition where she's kind of holding the sword in one hand, and she's cut her own head off, and she's kind of holding her head in her hand. And I wish I picked that up as well. I kind of missed out on that one. Nice, mate. Nice work. And then last but not least, Mr. Howell, who of course got the Patreon privilege as well of not having to paint a Malifaux faction. I think he did intend to, but he decided to do his Mythos Brotherhood of Belial, which, to be fair, is very fitting as well, because I think a lot of the Mythos stuff by Warcradle kind of fits like with the theme as well of Malifaux. I wanted to show this off. They look absolutely awesome, man. Really nice work. And he's also been building some terrain as well for the setting, which looks beautiful. So, what we're going to do now then, folks. Jillson, do they only do the Nightmare editions for Halloween? I think they do, yeah. It's like in the Black Friday sale, I think. But they also do... there's like a Gen Con one as well, so there's normally a one around this time as well. So there's a one kind of summertime that seems to link up with Gen Con, and then there's the one for Black Friday as well, which is where, if I can reach without knocking everything off my table and smashing some more things, that was where I got this one. Let me get this light back on again. I'll just put it over those. My light just decided to pack in. Yeah, I think it has. I think I'm having one of those nights tonight, folks. Oh, there we go. So if I come back to this one, this is the Witches and Wars set. So this is the Rotten Harvest Special Edition, and this one basically is Pandora and the Sorrows and the Poltergeist, and this is like the alternative sculpts for that one as well. So this is the one I got last year. So we've got Pandora, which is like a witch on a broomstick. Got Poltergeist there as well, and we've got some Sorrows there as well. So these ones are like the kind of the special edition ones, so you can kind of see there. So yeah, so they do those ones as well. Put that one down. Right, what I'm going to do now then is, so let me go back to this. That's not gonna. There we go. Come on, come back. Here we go. Laptop. That's the button we want. So we've got 13 people entered into this draw. What I'm going to do is I've got a random number generator here. Let me just we'll increase the size of that a little bit as well, so you'll see. So those of you at the back can see it as well. And we'll change this to 13. And then we're going to generate a result, and we'll see who gets the BlackJack Legacy Malifaux Painting Challenge mug. And it is number 7. Number 7 is Mark Corley. So, Mark Corley, if you're watching this, get in touch, mate. Thank you very much. You are the winner. I'll give him a couple of weeks to get in touch, or I'll try and grab a hold of him myself. If we don't get anybody, if we don't manage to get in touch with Mark, we'll throw it again in a few weeks' time. But yeah, Mark, congratulations, mate, and congratulations to everybody else who took part in the challenge as well. The challenges are always about trying to motivate you to paint. It's nothing to do with how good you are. I don't care how long you've been painting. I don't care how good you are. All I want to see is people sort of having something to focus on and trying to achieve a challenge. And then it means no matter what your standard is, no matter what your kind of sort of level that you want to paint at, you still have a chance of taking part and completing the challenge. So, I can shut those down now. I can get my chat back up and see what you lot are all talking about. Everyone's saying well done, Mark, as well. Play waited, everyone's minis looked so good. Thank you very much for coming to the chat, by the way. Very nice to see you. And yeah, it did. It's really nice to see everybody taking part. I mean, we themselves do basically a painting challenge or a painting competition on a regular basis, and I was just looking at the winners of that recently. Mark is in the chat. There he is. Nice to see you, mate. Drop me a note, mate, and I'll get you a dress and stuff. But the stuff. I mean, the stuff. In fact, I wonder if I can find it quickly while we're chatting. The stuff for the Malifaux sort of painting challenge. Let me just see if I can find it on Twitter. Was absolutely just on a completely different scale to what I kind of could achieve. That's for sure. I'll see if I can find it while we're chatting here, because I'll show you, because there were some awesome ones. But yeah, but the here we go. Awesome. In fact, let me go across back to here, and we'll come up with some of these. I mean, like, some of this stuff is just absolutely beautiful work. I mean, there's some really talented painters out there. These are some of the different ones that were entered. I'm just going to kind of skip through these. If you put hashtag flowers and showers 2021, you'll come up and you'll find a lot of these. Yeah, there's some beautiful stuff. So yeah, so if you're a bit more of a pro painter, you can enter that kind of stuff as well. But for my challenges, it's more about kind of, it's about being open to everybody. So yeah, thank you very much, folks. Frantic says, so now there's a draw. We got shafted last time. No, I haven't done the Dreadball one, mate. I completely forgot. I actually did say there was one as well. I need to go back and redraw that one. Yeah, don't worry about it. I will do it. Dan saying, well done, folks, as well. Martin saying, well done. Andrew says, could you do a topic one night, Andy, on how to take decent pictures? My chopping board really isn't suitable. Yeah, absolutely, mate. I don't mind doing that. If folks are interested in that, we can do that. Because to be honest, there's some... I mean, first of all, the most important thing really is just get some decent light as well. Get some decent light and make sure that you... One of the things I would certainly say is don't put anything in the background that is going to kind of focus the camera on. You can put nice backgrounds in and stuff and like kind of terrain and things, but make sure the focus is on the miniatures. And I'd also say as well, I always prefer to see like a crew painted, because I think what it does is, like, if you're kind of taking a picture of that, you focus on that and you see every little mistake because it gets blown up 3-4 times the size in the picture. You take a picture of a crew with models side by side, it doesn't need to be quite so big, and it kind of spreads the focus, and you can really see the effect of the kind of the crew painted together. But there's some little tips and stuff. We can definitely do that one Monday night or something like that. Right? Yeah, Marcus is saying there, photograph is about the lighting. If you get good lighting, you're basically trying to get loads of light into the lens, into the kind of sensor on the camera, and that kind of does kind of do sort of 9/10 of the work as well. Right, I guess we should start painting, shouldn't we? And seeing as I've just damaged little Ivan there, I don't think we're going to paint Ivan tonight. I think instead what we'll do is we're going to paint, let's get Gibson on the borders instead. Here we go. Good job, I prepped them all, isn't it? Not just didn't just do one. Martin saying you can pick up a light box off Amazon fairly cheap. You certainly can, mate. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, even just things like getting a lamp and kind of like just getting plenty of light around your miniature as well. I mean, the light boxes are good, but I tend to find that you still need to put extra light around them as well, to kind of to get the best job out of them. Andrew saying thanks very much. You are welcome, mate. You are welcome. Mortis, it's just like real estate. Location, location, location. Yeah, what I would say, if you're struggling with taking pictures, take some outdoors. So if you can get outdoors, and don't do it at midday when the sun's directly above you. You can do it on a day with a little bit of cloud as well. Cloud is perfect for kind of creating a diffused light. You don't want direct sunlight. You kind of want a diffused light to it. Get yourself outside and take your pictures outside. Natural light is absolutely awesome for taking pictures. Right, I'm using Nocturne Green here. I thinned it down with a little bit of airbrush thinner. And I'm just almost sort of glazing multiple layers up onto this as well. Just very lightly kind of building it up. You don't want to go on too thick. You just want to build it up gently. And actually where you can see where I've kind of dry brushed it with the white as well, some of that will come through this. So as you can see, it's hardly, like it's covering it, but it's not covering it with a really thick layer. And what happens is those white bits will give it a little bit of shade. The white bits will give it a little bit of highlight as well around the edges. So it's almost kind of like shading it as you go. Martin say, yeah, hold a white bulb lamp on my lap aimed into the light box when I take the picture. Not very pro. You know what it is, mate. You want to see how I do half the stuff that I do. All sorts of things cobbled together. When I can't find a stand for the light, and I'm kind of another thing to do as well. So I was going to say, like holding the light myself and putting the camera on the timer so I can hold the light at the same time. What I would say is, if your camera has a timer, either especially put the camera on a tripod so it's not moving around. If your camera has a timer, set the timer so 5 or 10 seconds or whatever, because what you'll find is as you press the button on the camera, you'll move the camera. If it's a camera phone, you're using it. That's what you need to see. A big shot of my watch, isn't it? If you've got a camera phone and you're holding it, as you're pressing buttons and stuff, you're going to be moving it around. You'll get slightly out of focus. The best thing you can do is fix the camera so it's not moving around, and set the timer so that it actually it automatically goes off itself, and that will help as well. Tony says, I like your challenges as they're not competitive. Allows me to enjoy painting instead of turning painting into an exercise in misery. I accidentally got myself entered into a competition a few weeks ago. Would have been embarrassed if I'd got a ranking. It's funny, mate, isn't it? I mean, like, there's plenty of stuff out there. If you are a painter who is really trying to kind of stretch yourself and win awards, and you're wanting to move up to the next level, there's loads and loads of stuff that's out there to encourage you to do that, to help you kind of paint better, to enter competitions so that you can try and pit yourself against the best. But actually, if you're just a hobby painter, if you're just somebody that likes to paint, like I got started basically, if you're somebody that likes to paint purely just because it's relaxing and it's quite kind of therapeutic, if you're somebody that just likes to paint because you like to play with painted miniatures and actually just sometimes so-called tabletop standard. I had a video about tabletop standard, my thoughts on that. But if you're somebody that likes to paint that just kind of like I wouldn't say like the basic required type thing, but like, you know what I mean. To basically your own level really, just good enough so that you think that it's done. You still need to be motivated. You still have to actually paint it. It still has to be kind of, still kind of have to enjoy it. Otherwise, it's not much of a hobby if you don't enjoy it, is it? If you don't enjoy your hobby, then maybe you should have a different hobby kind of thing. But there's not a lot out there that just encourages people to get doing it. That's why I've done things like my my Kings of War challenge, to get the kind of like to try and motivate people to get a bigger army done. The Malifaux, the painting challenge was just, you know, you don't have to paint a lot of models for Malifaux, to encourage people to maybe just pick up something a little bit different. If folks are kind of always just, you know, painting Space Marines or something like that, or AOS fantasy figures, you know, just pick something up. There's some fantastic stuff out there. Try something a little bit different. So yeah, just that's what I try and do anyway. Marcus says, I made my light box out of cardboard, matte white cardstock and Scotch tape. Yeah, to be honest, I've got a teleprompt made that I use, and I made mine out of a ring binder, the glass out of a picture frame, and some electrical tape, and then I've got like an iPad app that I kind of put inside it. So yeah, sometimes the homemade stuff, mate, just works exactly the same. Andrew saying, yeah, it folds up when not in use. Andrew says, if you take a picture with live mode, you can edit it later to choose a better picture. Yeah, if you're using like an iPhone or something like that, you certainly can. Yeah, and I would also say take a few pictures. Don't just rely on taking one and thinking, yeah, that's good enough. Not until you kind of blow that picture up, you see it on your screen, you realise just like all the little bits. BJ says, if you want a cloudy day, not as easy in Australia as it is in the UK. If you're in a place like Australia, things like try bouncing the light, so getting the sun onto a piece of white card or something and bouncing the light off the card onto the miniature as well. That's the other way to do it, so you kind of diffuse the light a little bit and get like a light, like an infill and stuff. Where are we up to here? Andrew said, I need to go shopping as I currently use the undercovered lighting strips, hence the chopping board, but thanks everyone for the advice. Yeah, I'll tell you what, at some point, mate, I'll do like a little kind of a 5-minute hobby tip video on how to take pictures. Because obviously I'm no expert, but it's something I've had to learn over time. Obviously when I'm for my own content, for videos and stuff like that. Like I think like one thing I would say is, a lot of people take a picture of their miniature, like just holding it up in front of like a million stuff scattered around on their hobby desk. It just makes it quite busy. Like even just putting a piece of white paper or a piece of grey paper or something behind it makes all the difference. Skip ahead a bit. Chelsea and I have a friend who never paints. He only likes building and playing. Every army is just primed black. I actually don't think there's anything wrong with that. Like, at the end of the day, this is a hobby. Like, we're not saving lives with this. Let's be honest. You know, we're just, your hobby is something that you do for fun. You shouldn't feel obliged to do the bits that you don't enjoy. Just do the bits that you do. But yeah, I've got no problem with that really. You're going to enter tournaments and stuff where there's a painting standard or whatever. And unfortunately, you're either got to decide not to enter tournaments, or you've got to get a commission painting or get a friend to paint it for you, or whatever it is. Yeah, but you shouldn't be kind of sort of beating yourself up about it. John says, I'm just finishing my first competition entry. It was a random draw of Star Wars Legion minis at my local club. I've entered just to try and do something different. Yeah, little bits of like things like that, mate. Honestly, just anything that just gives you a little bit of motivation, just to kind of get the brushes out and keep painting. BG says, the amount of people who seem not to enjoy the hobby yet still do it and then whinge about it online. I think what you'll find, mate, is that it's the whinging about it that's the hobby, not the painting bit. Andrew Fairbanks is saying, what have you done to your mini so far? I was worried about the dark zenithal, but the dark teal you've used looks really nice. I've literally, all I've done, mate, is I'm just glazing over the coat, really, mate. I mean, I'm not in any rush. I'm just kind of just chilling, just hanging out, chatting with you a lot. and I'm just building up the layers, mate. Really, just nice thin coat. And that's basically what I'm doing. So yeah, and I've used that nocturne green, so you can kind of see it there. Right, I think what we'll do now is I'll let that dry a bit. I think we'll come in with, I'm going to do trousers wise. I think we'll come on with like kind of grey trousers, and for that I am going to use contrast black Templar. I'm very likely going to just layer it up. Tiny little bit of water on my brush when I pick some up from here, and I'm just going to layer it in. And the trick with contrast paint is just to keep it moving. So if I do that and you get like a big kind of a bit of pooling on it, just keep pulling it to the bottom, pull it to the parts where you want the shade to be, and it acts like a bit like a glaze really. So you don't always have to use it like a, you know, it's not this kind of like wonder paint, if you like, with all the kind of shading and highlights type stuff. Sometimes it's just nice just to use it for its kind of, because it's got quite heavy pigments. Sometimes it's nice just to use it to kind of get a nice tone on it. I mean, you can see there, it gives a nice coverage. So if I'm kind of doing sort of grey black trousers, it just takes it nicely. A little bit of water as well, just to thin it down, keep it moving. I know the contrast medium works well as well, but fine. I've got some, I'm just not using it at the minute. Just keep moving it around so you don't get any kind of tide marks, and just pull any bits where it's pooling, pull them to the bottom. Like see I've got that kind of, you can see that there as well, so where it's kind of where I've stopped, that's where it's ended. What you want to do is just keep moving it, move it down towards the bottom. It's getting a bit thick, just dry your brush off and just wick it away a little bit. And then just work like that. Where are we up to here? Jill saying, that's what I like about BlackJack community. We don't do moaning much. We do positive encouragement and chit chat. Yeah, I mean, do you know what I mean? Like if you're into gaming and you're into the kind of the fine tactics and stuff like that, you know, maybe this community is not for you, kind of thing. Like we don't really get into the kind of the nitty gritty of the games themselves. We'll talk about the kind of the lore and the background and the stories and that kind of stuff. We'll talk about the cool minis and all the nice things that's out there. We'll talk about the kind of the slightly more obscure games that maybe people haven't heard of, or somebody's picked something new up. But generally, it's just about encouragement. It's just about trying to welcome new people, trying to get people to just step out of their comfort zone a little bit and try something a bit different. You know, if you've never painted a mini before, there's plenty of people there who will kind of help you out. So yeah, there's room in our hobby for all different types of communities, and this one's more about encouraging people to enjoy the hobby. Tony's saying, yeah, really enjoy the hobby now. Absolutely hate it when I was painting at a competitive level, but just dialed it back and I'm loving it now. Good, mate. Rocky Mountain Air says, lighting tip, put a daylight LED bulb in an articulated desk lamp, tape a sheet of parchment paper over the lamp for a diffuser. 2 lamps work even better. Yeah, definitely, mate. Parchment paper background works well too. Yeah, what I've done in the past as well is if you go online, you can print off like a photographic background, which essentially is kind of like a mottled background, because it stops the camera focusing on the background. So you know, if you get like a professional photograph taken, one of those kind of like family portraits, and it's got that kind of like mottled pull down kind of background, it's because the idea is it wants to look slightly blurred and out of focus, because the camera can't focus on that. So it picks you up, it focuses on you. Do the same thing as well when you're taking miniatures. You don't want to be competing with the subject, if you like. Andrew's saying the best part about the hobby is moaning about the hobby. Disagree, fight me, I'll meet you at Sonic. Rocky says I also like buying stuff for the hobby I'll never use. Probably a tie between that and complaining about the hobby. I think we're all kind of. I mean, I was thinking about this the other day because I played a lot of board games at the weekend, and I love board games. And as I kind of get a bit older, I find I'm enjoying board games more and more. And I was kind of thinking about like, why is that? Excuse me. And Steel Legion drop. And one of the things I was kind of thinking about, so what's the difference between a board game and a miniatures game? Like, why? Like, they're relatively, like, they're quite close these days. And the thing I've kind of come up with, the thing I kind of settled on, the main difference between a board game and a miniatures game really these days is the collector. It's the collectability. I think people who like board games like to collect board games, but they like to collect lots of different games, and they might only play them once, they might only play them twice, but I think they like to actually collect the games themselves, and when they have a game night or whatever it is, they like to have a collection of different games that they can play. But I think when it comes to kind of miniature gamers or war gamers, whatever you call them these days, they like to collect stuff for a game. Like they like to actually change the brush. They like to collect an army. They like to collect a faction. They like to have multiple factions for the same game. They like to get like all of the miniatures they like to look of. It's almost like sometimes the rules are almost secondary, and it's the hobby aspect, it's the collecting and everything else that kind of takes precedent. And I think we've seen that a lot over the last year with lockdowns and things like that. I do wonder how board gamers have kind of not coped. Cope is probably not the right word, but I wonder how board gamers have kind of sort of survived the last 12 months versus kind of hobby miniature gamers who have obviously just been painting or still been buying stuff and collecting stuff. Tasty Brain Drain says, has the next challenge been announced yet? No, to be honest, mate, I haven't really kind of given it much thought yet. I will give it some thought, but I'll also have a chat with the Patreons and stuff and see what people fancy. Let's just get a little bit of this where it's pooling a bit. Thin that out. Oh. That's why you have a bit of music in the background, because I'm just sitting with a brush in my mouth. Right, he's got like a little waistcoat on, so I'm just trying to get in there and pick that up. I'm trying to see if is that the other side of the waistcoat there. I think was that a tie or something. We'll not worry about it. We'll come back to it later. But yeah, I think we'll probably paint that with some metallics and stuff. That green's dry now, so we can come back and do a little bit more of the green on it. Just keep layering that up. Just want to get a nice coat on that. Let me just scroll down the chat here a little bit. I hate it when it does that, when it looks like there is no more chat, and then all of a sudden it jumps back. Andrew saying we're doing a 5k for the next challenge. Yeah, well, I'm on track this week. I said I wanted to exercise 4 times this week, and so far I've done twice in 3 days, so that's not too bad. I'm still on track. I'm so out of shape at the minute though, and I need to just kind of look beyond that and just keep going. Never mind painting challenges. I've got my own little personal challenge of trying to get a bit more healthy in terms of exercise and stuff. as you can imagine, doing this for a full-time job, there's a lot of sitting down involved. 5k. So, to be honest, I can't do 5k either. It's nothing to do with what size you are. It's definitely to do with how healthy, how fit you are, I should say. I used to do 10k runs regularly. I can't even look at 2k at the minute. Ice Moon says I need to head out. Thanks for the chat and cheers to all the entrants. Thank you very much, mate. Thanks for joining the chat tonight. Maladjusted question. I don't even do minis. I'm watching to learn new ways to paint and such for resin custom PC work I do. Ah, interesting, mate. Interesting. Multiple thin coats. This is probably the advice I would give you if you're just kind of starting out. You don't want to put it on too thick because you'll get all the brush strokes. You'll see all of the sort of like the thickness of the paint. What you're trying to do is just build up thin layers. See, that's what I'm doing now. Yeah, it looks like I've painted the same thing about 5 times, doesn't it? That's all I'm doing. I'm just putting thin layers of this green on. To be honest, you could probably do it even like maybe it's not even thin it down as much as I am, but I'm just in one of those kind of moods tonight where I'm just chilling out, just enjoying it. I'm not rushing it. I'm not in any urgency to get it finished. I'm just painting for fun tonight. And I love these Malifaux minis just for the pure, they're just a pleasure to paint. Bags of detail, nice scale. So, just working my way through them. Marcus is saying, so 5 fully kitted out nice, about 5,000 points, right? Yeah, I think the 5k, mate, was 5 kilometers, not 5,000 points. I think we're talking about exercise there. Derek's saying, collect stuff for one game, you're having a laugh. You know what I mean, mate? I think, or even if it's multiple games, there's a big difference. With, I don't think board gamers in general tend to, unless you're into Kickstarter and stuff, but I don't think they necessarily always go after expansions. They'll only go after expansions for the games that they really like and they've kind of played to death a little bit. Where I think miniature gamers tend to constantly want something to buy all the time. They want something new to buy. Jill says board gaming communities moved online. Several tabletop simulator style platforms out there. Yeah, I think Asmodee have got one, haven't they? I forget what it's called now. But there's Tabletopia, there's Tabletop Simulator. I forget what the other one's called now as well, but it's a relatively new one. But yeah, I think you're right. There is a lot of digital stuff going on. Jill says also play a lot of solo board games, which in my opinion are more fun than solo war games. I'd agree with that, mine. I'm not a huge fan of solo war games. I always feel like there's something missing from them. With solo board games, I can find them quite. I find them more like a puzzle. It's like doing a jigsaw type thing. There's a puzzle advice to it. Raja says lots of board games with minis to paint. Also been playing on Tabletop Simulator with friends. I wonder what the percentage of board game people who paint their minis is. I can't imagine it's that high these days. It might be growing, but I wouldn't imagine it's huge. Hello, Raja, by the way. How are you doing? John says no. Peter says you sound like Sean Connery with that brush in your mouth. So if I sit like this, and I just say, thank you, Miss Moneypenny. John says, normally I'd only have painted for Kings of War, but this year I've done more variety of stuff, particularly when not able to play. Now we're going back playing, I've got my motivation for my goblins. Nice one. Andrew saying, board gaming community is weird. You could tell from watching them that they are having a wonderful time, but there's never a way to get passers-by into the game. I completely disagree with that. So every year, apart from last year because of the pandemic, I've been to UK Games Expo, and they have a big open gaming area, and they have little flags that they put on the table to say, come and join our game. So if you're there on your own, you shouldn't feel left out. There are people sitting playing like board games who are actively looking for extra players to come and sit and join the games. So I think it depends where you are. Like if there's people like a little game club or something like that, they've probably pre-arranged stuff, like in the same way if you're in the middle of a war game or like a miniatures game, you're not just going to barge in and go, any chance you fancy playing 3-player in this? But I think in general, as a community, I think they can be quite welcoming. There's obviously some bad eggs, like there isn't any kind of community for any hobby or anything like that. But my experience is actually that I would say board gamers are probably more welcoming and more of a diverse crowd than I think miniature gamers are, just from my own experience. I've not done a survey or anything like that. Andrew says twice in 3 days is good. Yeah, I'll be going again tomorrow. Today was my rest day. Daisy Brain Drains, I think board games have been doing good. That's good to hear then. Blizzard saying that's Magor's Fiends done. Nice one. Mark's saying 5 kilometers is only about 3 miles. That's easy, as long as it's not 100 degrees. It's not easy if you're not very fit, mate. I'm struggling to do 2 miles at the moment, I'll be perfectly honest. I'm really, really out of shape. Like, I'm not massively overweight. Like, they were losing a few pounds, don't get me wrong. But I'm not massively overweight, but I'm really, really unfit. I've not done any kind of major exercise for a long time. I'm struggling with 2 miles. Tasty Brain Drain saying since they were stuck indoors and couldn't really go out, they got a chance to play a lot of games. Not if you couldn't meet up with people. Not if you were on your own, or if your partner's not really a board game. If you normally play with friends or kind of at clubs and stuff like that. Andrew says you can walk 5 kilometers 3 miles in an hour. It's not too hard. Just have the time. Yeah, I'm obviously trying to kind of like get fitter though, so like an hour's walk really a long time for me. Regis says he did 7k Monday night and another 7 Tuesday morning. Nice one, mate. Nice to see that you were cracking on with it. Lobby saying no, it's £5,000 worth of models. Yes. Board Game Arena, that's the one I was trying to think of, Ortega. Peter Olsen, this weekend I held a brush in hand for the first time since middle school, and it was insane how happy and satisfied I was with 2 minis I painted. It's still not the best, but better than 15 years. Round of applause. Congratulations. I love it when people kind of just enjoy it. You don't have to be good at it. I should have this on a t-shirt now. You don't have to be good at your hobby. You just have to enjoy it. That's all you need to do. You're not doing this for anybody else. You're doing it for your own enjoyment. If you're somebody that goes out and takes kind of wildlife, I'm gonna go full screen for this one. If you're somebody that goes out and does like wildlife photography, or you're somebody that kind of sort of collect badges, or you knit things, or you like kind of like, or you enjoy cooking meals, you enjoy cooking food. You're only doing it for yourself, really, or you're doing it maybe for somebody else, with food-wise. But you're only really doing it for your own enjoyment. And our hobby should be exactly the same. It shouldn't be about trying to impress 1,000 people on Facebook. It shouldn't be about trying to kind of show off on Instagram. It's your hobby. Just as long as it brings a smile to your face, you're doing it right. There you go. Ran over. Well, just a question. It's got to go. See you all later. I need to rescue a little man from his educational imprisonment. That's a nice way of putting it. Thank you for coming in. Tony says, I think a lot of Patreons proudly wear the Bade of Game minis tart. Yeah, I think we all do, mate. Or the badge, I should say. Yeah, John saying welcome to the group as well, to Peter there as well. Peter says, I absolutely love doing a solo dungeon crawl. Those are the best ones solo, as they tend to be cooperative. Yeah, I personally just don't really enjoy solo miniature games. I think it's the setup time and things like that. I think I'd rather play a solo board game, if I'm honest, especially one that's been designed to be solo. Right, we're going to Contrast Wildwood. We're going to give him a darker skin. Andrew says, whether you could or not get into their board game really depending on what game they were playing. But then isn't that the case with anything? That's like saying like that those people that are into cooking food are a funny lot. Like, they were making food I didn't like. It's like, you know what I mean? It's if it's a game you want to play, then by all means, kind of dive in and play it. James Bray, hello fella. He says, when I was 19, I saw a flyer for a board game club in a cafe. The only other people were the organisers, a couple in their 30s. After Catan, they invited me back to theirs for other games. I declined. I think you might have got the wrong end of the stick there, mate. I think they really were just going to play other games. It's like Christian and I went to a board game cafe at the weekend, and Christian said to the guy, basically just recommend a game that basically like is one of those kind of like Marmite love it or hate it type things. Maybe something that you don't often get the chance to recommend, just something completely random, just do that. And the guy was like, I like a bit of a challenge. And it was quite nice. So he came up with some great options. So it was nice to kind of just play that kind of self-contained sort of board game experience. Let that dry a little bit. We'll push on any further. The honey badger is the last one I need for my collection. What was that? Oh, I must have missed something there, mate. Dan Ortega saying, do make that as a t-shirt, I'll buy it. Dan Kennedy says, on the topic of fitness, I've got to hit the sack so I can get up for my morning run. So catch the stream at my next chance to paint. Take care, fella. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. Jill Munro says, collects badges. Accent issues. Badgers, not badgers. Badges. That's the honey badger. That was what we were talking about. Jim saying, I did that 2 years ago. Now I'm hooked. It's amazing. Peter says, I'm talking about board games. Great examples of the dungeon crawler types I like are the D&D adventure system games, the new Aliens board game. Okay, mate, I see what you mean. I thought you were meaning like a dungeon crawler, like a I suppose dungeon crawlers are board games, really. I'm not sure there's a lot of solo ones. I'll tell you what's not a bad kind of dungeon crawler-esque game, actually, was the Terminator ones. By River Horse. They made some Terminator board games. And actually they were alright. I quite enjoyed them when I played. Right, starting to come on there. I'm liking the cut of the jib. Tolmart says, I loved your solo Walking Dead video you did a while back. Do you know what it is actually? Yeah, I would say maybe Walking Dead is probably like it's my rule, that my exception that proves the rule. I think I actually do like Walking Dead solo. So yeah, I've just contradicted myself already. Right, I think we'll go with a dark brown for those kind of like leather patches. We don't need no stinking badgers. No, I just read that as well, David. I didn't even see that when I said that. I just glanced back down and saw it. Tony said, I absolutely love seeing painted minis. I don't care how good the minis is. If you're proud of it, then please share it. We have a variety of experience in the group and a variety of minis. Yes. Interest. It's great and everyone is treated as an equal. I agree, mate. I just like to see when people have enjoyed doing something. Like share your hobby. Like sort of share the love. If you're like, if you've got something in your life that makes you happy, like there's too many people haven't. Well, enjoy it, share it. Sort everybody else. Right, well, do you know what it is? I kind of forgot I'm even streaming the painting tonight, to be honest. I'm almost just painting while I'm chatting. So, apologies if you've come for the painting and got stuck with the chat. But yeah, happiness is a funny thing. So if you find something that makes you happy, just do it, no matter what anybody else says. Apart from maybe drug addiction, I would maybe draw the line at that. Marcus is saying, I've got very slowly painting my Ninja All-Stars board game. Nice one. Yeah, making this up a psycho where we don't know stinking badges. Beijing says, a good river horse game. I guess there must be one. It was alright actually, mate. It's not bad at all. It had quite a clever mechanic actually that I can't remember now, but I remember enjoying it at the time. I think it was kind of like a river mechanic where basically like if something died, it went to the back of a queue, and there was like a queue of like sort of bad guys coming in. Whenever something died, it went to the back and came back later on. You know, that Terminator kind of just keeps sort of endlessly kind of coming back wave after wave. It's quite an interesting mechanic. Peter says, we don't come for the painting, we are waiting for curry and sausage talk. I'm not talking about food tonight. I'm trying to eat healthy. In fact, I am going to talk about food because I've had the barbecue on 2 nights in a row. Last night I cooked some amazing steaks on the barbecue. My wife got some really nice steaks. So we got the barbecue. I cleaned the barbecue up last night. And when the little one went to bed, I put the steaks on the barbecue, and we had like steaks with like roasted peppers and roasted mushrooms and some grilled tomatoes. It was really nice. And then tonight, the little one wanted a cheeseburger, so we grilled some nice, or we barbecued, I should say, some nice burgers. What was it? Do a little bit of cream for his shirt, I think. Loveman says, I'll quote you on that when I post random bollocks in the Discord. You post random bollocks every day, mate. Who are you kidding? Hope Lives says, anyone ever play that Starship Troopers game? I see it on eBay for 300 quid. Wow, it was going for pennies, mate, not long ago. Because I think it was just basically, it was like a failed game type thing. I think anybody trying to get 300 quid for it, trying to pull the fast one there, mate. Peter Cummins says, actually, Bolt Action and Kings of War came out of River Horse, you know. They came out of, I think River Horse came out of, I suppose he kind of did. River Horse was the name of the company, wasn't it? That Alessio was kind of founded rather, and he was doing it as a, what's it called? As a freelance kind of rules writer. But yeah, technically you're not wrong. Andrew says, no mod spamming links to the merch store tonight. No, he's I don't even know if I should say this. He's busy. He's out tonight, shall we say? Christian's not around. So no, I don't have the links set up myself. Although, if you are looking to go to the merch stores or anything like that, all the links are in the description of this video. So they're still there if you go looking for them. Right, this is the bit where I go quiet, where I try and concentrate. Yeah, that must be the waistcoat now. Try and get. Yeah, I'm on camera, aren't I? Yeah, that's right there. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll use that brown here. Let's have a look. John says, I misread your comment. I thought River Horse had brought out some bacon. Andrew says, you know what, Aussies, those shrimp on the barbie. I like a bit of steak on my barbie, to be fair, mate. My wife is going out on Saturday night, so I'm home alone Saturday night. I might break the barbie out and make my dinner on the barbie. Barbecue for one on Saturday night. I do like it when the summer comes and you can start breaking out the barbecue again for those 3 days that we get it. Right, I need a bit of a let's have a bit of Rune Lord Brass, I think. Andrew says, I also liked the video. No mention of that either. Yeah, like the video. Peterson, he just bought Fallout for $32.50. Thought it was worth a look. I don't think it's a bad game, mate, actually. Vijay says, Alessio, yes. Riverhorse specific product. Been very average from what I've played. I mean, Alessio's not the only rules writer at Riverhorse as well. And I think some of the games that you are talking about, VJ, are not like necessarily Alessio designed games. They're probably employee designed games. Plus, there's a difference between designing board games and designing miniatures games as well. So, ooh, I do like this brass. It's the first time I've used it, I think. I don't even know what that thing is on his waistband, but it's going to be brass. Up there. Trying. Old man says, you're right, I do, because it makes me happy and I want to break the norm of things. Why not, mate? Why the heck not? I like the randomness. Keeps everybody on their toes. Keeps everybody sort of guessing at what you're going to say. I like it. Don't ever stop. Andrew says, sounds like an all-night live stream Saturday night. An all-night live stream. God, can you imagine that? I think you'd all get a bit sick of me. I'll be live streaming to myself after a while. And if I was live streaming to myself, that's just called living. That's just what I do every day. Live stream to myself. Apart from when I'm on my own, I don't just talk constantly like this. I tell you what, folks, what you should do is try just talking about random stuff for about half an hour and see how quickly you run out of things to talk about. That's what live streaming is. It's about, like, when I'm doing a live stream, like, my brain is like, honestly, so I'll start again. When I finish a live stream, my brain is going like a million miles an hour, because when I'm doing a live stream, I'm obviously keeping talking. The last thing that you want to do is kind of just sort of turn the live stream on and find absolute silence. So it doesn't matter if I'm streaming to one person, it doesn't matter if I'm streaming to nobody, if I'm streaming to hundreds of people. You've got to keep talking. You've got to keep it interesting, if you like. I'm reading the chat, and sometimes I'm kind of reading the chat, coming up with an answer in my head before I actually read it out, which is why there's sometimes when it takes me a little while to catch up sometimes. And I'm also kind of gauging how fast the chat's moving, knowing about whether I need to come up with something to talk about, because I'm going to catch up the chat and get ahead of it, especially on the painting streams. Because on a painting night, I think a lot of people are sitting doing hobby, so they don't kind of like chat in the comments quite as much. There's a lot of people just sitting kind of painting and not really stopping every 30 seconds to kind of type something. So like, my brain is like super active, and when I finish a live stream and I come off, it's like, oh, like I really need to wind down. It's funny. It's not something that you'd kind of expect ordinarily, but it's amazing how it sort of triggers your brain and keeps you wired. Where was this one? James Braces, barbecue for one is liberating, mate. Very therapeutic. You know what it is, fella? I've said this before, I'm not a fan of cooking at all. I don't get any enjoyment from cooking in the kitchen. But I must admit, there's something very primal about a barbecue. It's the same when I'm sitting with a fire pit on in the garden. There's something quite primal about it. I don't know what it is, but I find it quite relaxing, and I think barbecues are a bit like that. So yeah, I think I'll potentially get as long as the little one goes down to sleep okay, I'll get the barbecue on. Maybe do myself a steak or something. Maybe pour myself a nice bourbon. Maybe finish it off with a cigar. Be a proper man of leisure while my wife's out enjoying the night out. Right, I'm trying to see what these things are around his waist. I've got no idea. They're really well sculpted, but it's like I'm not sure what they're meant to be. Right, we're going to give them some brass buttons, I think, because I'm really liking this brass. Do that. I think we'll give them some black shoes. John says, I'm barbecuing on Saturday as well. Got wife's oldest friend staying with us. Sorry, mate. But the way I read that, I just had this vision of like, so these are all my friends, and this one's the oldest. She's like 110, and she's coming for a barbecue. That was the way it registered in my head when I read that. Like our oldest friend. Thinking like, that's a funny way to talk about her. She's just really old. Ty Beavis is saying there's also another difference again between design and IP specific licensed board games. Yeah, and Riverhorse do a lot of IP board games. I think they did Labyrinth, which I think was quite a big success. And then they did a lot more IP stuff after that. That I assume had varying success. Although the My Little Pony thing, I think, by all accounts, does quite well. The My Little Pony RPG, and they did that. You don't hear from them quite so much these days, though. Well, certainly I don't. Right, nice pair of black shiny shoes there. Very smart, sir. Right. What else are we missing here? I need to brighten up his hair a little bit. Keep that white. Peterson, yeah, there's a huge difference between making rules for a setting you love and making rules because you have to. John says, what brass is that? I need a better one. This one, mate, is Rune Lord. Look, where is it there? Rune Lord brass. It's really nice. Ortega says, whatever happened to that Kickstarter, you're going to be a card in. You know what it is, mate? It launched. And how can I put this? So they thought they would be clever with it, and they would launch it on April Fool's Day. And unfortunately, people thought it was a joke, and so people didn't really back it. And I think it kind of, the marketing behind it was a good idea that kind of backfired. And so basically, it kind of disappeared without a trace. So I still have a copy of the game. Game's alright, actually. I still have a copy of the game. I'm probably one of very few people who do. Probably me and Alessio. Yeah, the game was alright, actually. If it wasn't, I wouldn't have wanted my likeness in it. That's for sure. But no, it was good. Unfortunately, the marketing behind it, which was a nice idea, kind of backfired, I think. Right. Because I think that, I mean, obviously the game was called Kickstarter, and it was about kickstarting the game, and it was so kind of like meta, if you like, that launching it on April Fool's Day, just thought they thought it was a joke. They thought it was a big piss take. Bonnie says, I hear you, brother. Jill says, I do a 24-hour live stream once a year for charity, but midway through I'm sick of me. There's been nights where I've been on a live stream and I've kind of got to a point where I've just went, I'm sick of hearing my voice now. Like, I'm tired of hearing my own voice. I'm sure everybody else is as well. I definitely get like that sometimes. What are we up to? Peter says when you run out of things to talk about, bam, curry and bacon batties. There you go, mate. Andrew says it's easy to talk random for an hour. Trick is to talk politics, sports and religion. If you skip those, as a good live stream showed, you quickly run out of things to say. You're not wrong, mate. Lord Maiden says, what else goes well with ketchup apart from bacon? Chips, mate. Chips all day. You gotta have a big splodge of ketchup with your chips. Fish is nice with ketchup as well, actually. If you have like fish and chips. Right, I think what we'll do is, I think we'll give a little tiny red lens. I think we'll use Blood Angels contrast paint just to put a tiny little dot on his lens, on his eyeglass thing. Scott says, going to head off. Turned off the painting lamp for the evening. Take care, fella. Take care. Peter saying I paint some Chaos Marines just because it's different to Malifaux. James says, plus mate, when you barbecue for one, you can spend twice as much on your steak. Oh, you're not wrong, mate. Not on the wages I earn, that's for sure. Right. Nice little. You know what, I think I'm going to give a little bit of a red glaze to the front of whatever that thing is, that flying thing. Oh, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm going to give it a blue one. I might not. Proper big fries, English chips. Yeah, proper chunky chips. Chip, but you must have red sauce. Yeah, I would agree, mate. Andrew's saying an open fire pit is nice just to sit there and watch the flames. Downside is you end up smelling like smoke. See, that's when I sit and have a cigar. I'm going to stink of smoke anyway, so I'm going to get showered and get all my clothes straight in the wash. So, yeah, that's the time to have a cigar, mate. Right, I think maybe a bit of silver, I think. We'll go with Iron Hand Steel. Tony says, you know what, I'm looking at this BlackJack and thinking I need a break from painting. I want to make a mess and do some hobbying on this diorama. Being sporadically built. That's the way, mate. Just jump in and out of it. St. Louis Key says, my grandson's oldest friend is 4. There you go. I heard like a joke thing the other day, and it was like somebody had said to this kid, how old's your father? And the kid went, he's 5. And he went, how can he be only 5? He's your father. I said, he wasn't my father before 5 years ago. I thought it was quite funny. Martin says, I just calculated how much all my GW minis would cost if you still buy them with what they cost now is about $4,800. I will never ever, all these people that do their my pile of shame things and stuff on YouTube, you will never ever see me do a pile of shame video, and I have no intention of trying to calculate how much stuff is just built up in the house. And I'll tell you the reason why is because I never want to give people the impression of like, look all the stuff I've got, look how much I've got. Like a lot of these kind of YouTubers and stuff who are showing it off get loads of stuff for free, like especially the big channels, you get loads of stuff for free. So to kind of, it's almost a little bit disingenuous to say, look at my pile of shame. It's like, well, yeah, how much of it did you buy? So yeah, I won't be doing my pile of shame stuff. And I've got no intention in counting how much the value of it is, because it's worth 0 value while it's sitting in my cupboards and stuff. I'm going to put a little bit of silver on there, and I'm going to glaze over the top of it and make it a bit shinier. Have I got anything? Have I missed any bits? Let's just put a few kind of silver scratches across the top of that, just to dull it down a little bit. He's known him half his life. Vijay says, agreed, Labyrinth is a very average and Highlander. Well, the less said about the worst game, the better. Yes. Andrew says, skin needs a colour. Skin's got a colour, mate. It's dark. It's a GW brass. all of my paints except my white. I've just topped up my my Vallejo white that I like for my airbrush. John said I sometimes get sick of my own voice mid-sermon. Can you imagine if you just like halfway through just went, you can all go home now, I've had enough. Yeah, Marcus says that and GW stuff used to be a third the price years ago. Everything was a third of the price years ago. That's called inflation, mate. Everything does that. Putting a little bit of a lighter bit on there. Right, I think what we're going to do is I'm going to get the old liquid talent out and just run the wash into a few areas. We need to highlight up this this coat a little bit as well at some point. Agrax. Roasted ham and cheese sandwich goes with ketchup. Oh. All food. Ketchup was made up of fruit, so it's a smoothie. It's one of your 5 a day, mate, isn't it? Oh, don't talk about vinegar. I can't do that one. He says, when I was a little disappointed to see Donna Howell do it. Yeah, I must admit, I saw that as well, and I was like, I can see what she's doing. She's seeing everybody else do them and see kind of how popular they've become. And I was like, no, it's not for me. Honestly, I don't really want to see like how much, like, I don't really see the purpose in them. And I'm not having to dig at the individuals that's done them. Everybody's entitled to make their own content. But I'm not really sure why they're so popular. It's like, if you want to see like a pile of stuff, just go to the shop. Like, there's a whole pile of stuff in the shop. Like, I don't really know what purpose it serves. Like, look at all this stuff that I bought and didn't use. Like, that's, if there was a kind of like a method, if there was a reason to it, like I'm really embarrassed about it, I'm going to give it all away, or I'm going to sell it and give the money to charity or something like that, or I'm actually going to paint it, or like, if there was a purpose to it rather than just going, look at how much stuff I'm not using. I just don't understand them. Like, nobody does a, let's have a look at all the old clothes I've got in my wardrobe that don't fit me anymore. Like, nobody does a video about that. It's a kind of a similar thing as far as I can see. Like, you've either bought things because you really wanted them when you bought them, or you really fancied buying something when you got them, and you've done nothing with them because you changed your mind. Like, I think a lot of hobbies are like that. Just find it an unusual topic, but hey, what do I know? They get more views than I do. I'm not really chasing the views with that kind of video. Where were we up to here? Midwinter, I expected it. Yeah, Scott saying Broadsword did one too. Yeah, this is what I mean. It's like you kind of all, and it, to be honest, it's what YouTube is about, really. If you kind of like, if you're doing it for the views type of thing, like, YouTube pushes you into making videos that get clicks, and unfortunately, like, that's the kind of thing that works. But I just, personally, for me, I just don't see the point. John says that my pile of shame is almost empty. I need my order to arrive before I die. Blizzard says, I don't call it a pile of shame, it's a pile of opportunity. I refuse to feel shame over something I love. Yeah, it's not like, I don't think it's, well, do you know what it is? It potentially can be a pile of shame, because actually there needs to come a point where you do need to take a look at yourself, and I don't mean you personally, I just mean people. Like, you need to take a look at yourself and think, I need to stop buying stuff, because I'm buying stuff and not using it. And actually, it's quite shameful that I've spent all this money and I've done nothing with it. I don't even look at it. It goes in a box, it goes in the loft, it goes in the cupboard, wherever it is. So there is an element of, like, and I use shame in a very kind of light-hearted way, but there is an element of actually we could do with taking a kind of like a long hard look at ourselves sometimes about how much we're spending versus how much we're actually using. But yeah, I just find the idea of like flaunting it in people's faces, I just find it a bit weird, a little bit distasteful. Like I'm in a really fortunate position. I get to do this for my job, and I will get sent stuff, unsolicited stuff. So like sometimes it's like it's not something I've kind of like I would normally be interested in. I might get sent something and like I might do a review of it, or maybe I won't if it's not something I'm that interested in. But like not everything can get played with. Not everything gets kind of like gets to the table. So I end up like with stuff that I've been sent that doesn't get used. And I feel kind of weird about selling it because I got it for free. So I don't really want to kind of necessarily sell it. I don't necessarily want to kind of like sort of do giveaway stuff because it's kind of second hand and things like that. Like and to be honest, it ends up costing me money then to ship things around. So it just ends up piling up a lot of it. And I kind of feel quite bad about that sometimes. And the last thing I want to do is to kind of like show it off and kind of push it down people's faces. Look what I've got that I don't use. It's kind of weird. Jill says, I find the look how much I spent on all this stuff I'll never pay in video is offensive, especially at a time when people are struggling to stay in the hobby because of COVID and jobs. Do you know what it is? I think there's a lot of people struggling to stay in the hobby because it's getting expensive. Like there's that as well. I find it a strange topic. You'll never see me do one. I will never do that, no matter how many clicks it gets. It's just not. I find them a bit distasteful as well. Romain says, is that just the flip side of untapped opportunities, Piler? Mark Colley says, cheese and tomato sauce sandwiches are awesome. Yes, it does sound like lazy pizza, you're right. Marcus is saying, yeah, to get the base set of Tyranid, which were the first things I ever bought, cost me $360. Now would cost $722. So correction, GW stuff has doubled. I guess it depends though, mate, doesn't it? Like it depends because points costs have changed and everything else, and like, to be honest, complaining about GW pricing is like saying it really hurts when I bang my head on the wall. Like, kind of, you know what you're getting into, and I feel sorry for people that don't know what they're getting into. But anybody that's been in the hobby long enough, like, knows the prices are going to go up. They know GW were a company that's kind of, they're about the money. They're a massive business. I just find it like it's a funny one. It's almost like, yeah, just don't worry about it. It is what it is. I either accept it or play something else and move on. But yeah, the amount of stuff online that's like complaining about it. I mean, I think I've talked about it in live streams and stuff, but mine, when I've talked about it, it tends to be around the like where I feel we've gone past that level of price increasing. Like, I think there was Gargant for like whatever they were, 100 and odd quid or whatever they were. I felt like that was just like a hang on, this is getting out of hand kind of thing. But generally, just the pricing in general, I don't really play their games anymore. So it's been a long time since I've talked about them really. And I talk about them like on live streams and things like in passing because they're the biggest game company, and you can't really ignore them. So I do kind of reference them and stuff, and I reference them as in like as a reference point for people who are maybe new to the hobby. But yeah, I tend not to play their stuff now. Too many good games out there. Lord Maiden says, is it just to see who the laziest dick is? Yeah, maybe. Tony says, about my only shame is having a virtually untouched Dread Amble that I can't even give away and I won't sell at current market price. because I only paid 20-25 quid for it. Just paint it, mate. Just enjoy it. Convert it. Make a diorama for it or something like that. Like, at the end of the day, something is only worth what somebody else is willing to pay for it. And it's only worth that if you're willing to sell it. Like, otherwise, don't worry about it. Just because something's worth something doesn't mean it has to be worth something to you. Do you know what I mean? Like, so what we're doing for time, 10:30. Well, this is coming together quite nicely. Just gradually, just kind of, just pottering away a little bit at a time. I'm not really paying any attention. I'll have to take a picture of all these pots I paint later on just to see what colours I've been painting. Lord, people having a bit of a chat. Derek says, I've spent the last 2 years rationalising my pile of opportunity via eBay, including some stuff I had since the late 80s. It's unbelievable how it mounts up, mate, especially if you just took it out of the way and forget about it. And I think that's why it's healthy to kind of to look back at it sometimes and say, right, this is out of hand kind of thing. But I do find it's kind of, that should be a bit of an inward thing. You shouldn't necessarily be kind of like sort of showing it off to the world on YouTube, for example. But that's just my opinion. We've all got our own opinion. I always find out whenever I do a live stream. I'm just trying to very gently paint the strap for his eyeglass around his head here. No idea if it's on camera, but I'm gonna keep going. Where are we up to here? Ortega says, I can understand the pile of shame videos if they're about motivating oneself to actually paint or to use or give away the minis, but I do see your point about how they can be distasteful. Yeah, and I'll be perfectly honest, I'm not criticising any of the people that have made those videos because I haven't watched them. So I've got no idea, kind of, I have no idea of the point of those videos. I don't know, maybe they are giving them away, maybe they're giving them to charity. I've got no idea. I haven't watched them. But I just don't like the idea of them, if I'm honest. I just don't think it's a topic that necessarily needs to be made. But yeah, like I say, what do I know? Right. A little bit more dry brushing on that. I think just lighten that green up a touch further. We'll have a little bit of, not much lighter than that. No, not really. A little bit of Lauren Forest, I think that's just a touch lighter. Fiji says, complain about GW pricing on YouTube is like making a pile of shame video. Mooks Moosington, hello mate, how are you doing? Nice to see you. Andrew saying, save me from starvation after the cafeteria shut down on a number of occasions. We missed something there. Oh, 30 of my freshman 15. I've got no idea what we're talking about there. I missed that one. Rob Brown, hello mate. He says, I have no issue with piles of shame videos or whatnot. I do worry about people who overspend and live hand to mouth or appear to give comments they make, because yeah, I do agree with that as well, mate. There is like there is an element of that, like there's an element of kind of wait till the end of the month kind of thing so I can get it type thing, and I do wonder if that's like it must be quite hand to mouth at times for that kind of conversation, or complain about a Kickstarter ending before payday type thing or something like that. I do know what you mean. Like if you're worrying about that, I think you probably got bigger worries. You certainly don't have the spare cash that you think you do, kind of thing. Hello Rob, by the way. How are you doing, mate? Yeah, if you can afford it, have it. I get that, but then you don't need to show the world. Like, look at all this stuff I can afford that you can't, kind of thing. I find that's a bit distasteful. Mark says, I wish I could get a hold of a Dreadham Bull to make a Tyranid conversion. Yeah, happy birthday, Moose, as well. I nearly forgot that, mate. Andrew says, my Palace Shame is a little too much for some people, but I can afford it. It's literally the only thing I spend money on. Yeah, but like, I'm not criticising anybody for having a pile like of opportunity, pile of shame, whatever you call it. I just don't see why why people need to kind of show everybody else it. That's the bit I find weird. It's not the fact that you've got one, and people can buy whatever they like. Yeah, Moose is saying, go and grab a coffee and a muffin and off to meet my new baby niece. Oh, nice, mate. Peter says, I always find the pile of shame videos make me say that's not a pile. Maybe that's the attraction. It's almost a kind of like, it's that comparison thing. Have I got bigger pile than somebody else, kind of thing. Tasty Brain Drain says, we were talking about Raising Cane's. I've heard of that, mate. I was watching a video recently and they went to Raising Cane's. Rob says, yeah, even up, it's that kind of thing. And yeah, it can be distasteful. I don't disagree. James saying, I was in a GW store once and the guy's credit card got declined when he was getting something and he freaked out that he'd miss out on the model, so store held it for him. Yeah. I mean, credit cards can get declined for a number of different things, mate, can't they? It's not like, sometimes it's a case of like, you know, it's been blocked because it's been what do you call it? You know, like sometimes they do a check thing and all that kind of stuff, or maybe he's missed a payment or something like that. I mean, there's a number of different reasons, but I know what you mean. I do know what you mean. Like I used to buy a lot of things on my credit card, everyday spends, and not because I couldn't afford it, but because I got I got bonus, like you got bonus stuff for like spending on your credit card. So I would spend on my credit card and then pay the bill straight off every month. But like, yeah, when your hobby's going on your credit card because you haven't got any money, that's very different. I still do kind of some big purchases on a credit card purely just for the security of it as well. Because if there's any issues, then basically the credit card company fights the case normally. Moose says, thanks, Mr. Burdis. It's going to be a cracker. Yeah, enjoy, mate, enjoy. Dare I ask how old you are? I think you're a fair bit younger than me, that's for sure. Andrew says, I had my credit card declined because I paid several medical bills in a month and hadn't paid the bill. I've had my card declined because when I've been on holiday or something like that, and I forgot to tell them that I'm kind of travelling or something like that, and they've declined it, and then I've had to ring up and try and, yes, it is me. It's not being fraudulently used and all that kind of stuff. Wiked Insanity, hello to you as well. Welcome to the chat this night. Ortega says, that's my mini project done. I'll post pic soon. Nice one. James says, saying that though, I had my credit card maxed in the early 20s. Not good. Thank God for meeting my wife who put me straight. Yeah, I've been through that as well, mate. I think sometimes it's not a bad thing to go through it so you come out the other side as an older person a bit wiser for it. But yeah, I've had those issues as well myself when I was younger. There might be blue, I think, on that lens. Peter says, I've seen videos with piles 10 times smaller than mine. It doesn't matter. What matters is how much is ready and gets played with. The rest is just work in progress. I don't even think it's about how much gets played with, mate. I mean, to be honest, if your hobby is collecting stuff, if your hobby is just building stuff, if your hobby is painting stuff, you don't have to play it. But the idea of kind of saying it's a pile of shame and then showing off what you've got and that, basically, like, that probably you're never ever going to do anything with, which is why it's kind of a pile of shame, if you like. That's the bit I find weird. But like I say, each to their own. Moose is 42 years young, just a wee whippersnapper of a lad. I remember when I was 42. I'm 46 this year. Time flies, mate. Enjoy it. White Insanity says, I'm not new, but I'm 62 now. Train guy. 62, still young as well, mate. You're only as old as you feel. And your hobby will keep you young, so there you go. Right. Kind of think I'm just pushing stuff around now, so I think we'll just... I'm going to put a little bit more agrax on that brass on the back. And then I'm going to call that one done, I think. Tony says, never owned a credit card. I'm not good at accountancy, so I work with what I have. It's funny, when I was younger, they kind of recommended you get a credit card because that was kind of to build up a credit rating so that when you come to get a mortgage or you want to buy a car or something like that, you've got some kind of credit rating. So that was what I was advised when I was younger. That was how I got into it, and then that's never how it starts, is it? It's always a case of like, oh well, I'm earning good money. I can afford it. I've spent all my money, but I'm still earning good money. Yeah. Eisenhorn, thank you very much for becoming a member. Welcome to the YouTube chat. Tolmort, he's 62 as well. Yeah, on my back. I feel that, and I'm doing 45, mate. Also, I have to say, did celebrating shame become a thing? Yeah, I don't know, mate. Like, it's weird. It's a weird thing. It's a weird thing. Yeah, thank you, Eisenhorn. Thank you very much. Yeah, my only sanity is my trains, says White. There's nothing wrong with that, mate. Nothing wrong with that. See you, Moose. Enjoy your birthday, mate. Make sure that you get looked after as well. Scott, are you 55, mate? I was pretty sure you were younger than me, mate, if I'm honest. Marcus is saying 35, still several months away. Peter's 36. All these youngins. James is 36 in a couple of weeks. Yeah, all the young kids are in now. Tony, 53. He's never 53. BG says, as a freelancer, I've always had to be careful managing money, so never risked major credit card debt. I think what was different with me when I was younger was I had a pretty good job, and I still lived at home with my parents. So I kind of like, it was a case of, like the risks were low. I had no money when I was a kid. Like we were pretty poor when I was a kid. So it was a case of like, now I'm going to do all the things that I could never afford to do when I was younger. So I think that there was an element of that. I think, but I've learned from. To be honest, I don't regret it. I've learned from that experience that basically like things don't make you happy. Like memories make you happy, and looking after people makes you happy, and kind of experiences is what life's about. Not about buying stuff. BG says, before my wife and I got married, we did a deal. I would get my driver's license, she would sort out a credit card. James Bray says, I love this community, I'm a young'un. You'll always be a young'un, mate, round here. Radek's technically 38, he says, hopefully I pay my mortgage this month, debt free. Nice one, mate, that is good going. Nigel Jones, 58, still a kid as well, mate. Hope is 42, baldy since 24. Nothing wrong with a bit of a baldy head, mate. Blizz has 25 plus shipping and handling, plus the new Brexit tax. Tony saying trains are cool. Love seeing the beautiful model layout. Yeah, I do like that stuff as well. Henry Mendes, hello mate. He says he turned 52 weeks ago. Many happy returns for 2 weeks ago, mate. BG saying yeah, she was in that boat, lived at home with the olds and had a good paying job. Yeah, that was me, isn't it? As long as you get out of it and learn from it, it's worth it. Yeah, I think so, mate. I never got to a point where I had people kind of like banging on the door to pay bills or anything like that. But I did get to a point where I was kind of like sort of living beyond my means, I think. But yeah, I managed to kind of like sort of get back on the straight and narrow. But what I can say, like I said before, like by buying all those things and having nice cars and spending money on clothes and going to fancy places and stuff like that, I kind of learned that that's not what life's about. And I think without experiencing that, I probably would have still been on that track of like, I need to have a nice car, and I need to buy fancy branded clothes all the time, and I need to kind of show my worth, if you like, a different way. But I guess kind of you learn, don't you, from those experiences. Derek 65. Yeah, just a baby as well. Derek, man, you're one of the youngins. VJ 44 and counting slowly. Yeah, I'm trying to count slowly as well, mate. Peter says, due to a surplus of paint, my Chaos Marines are now Macragge blue. Nothing wrong with that, mate. They can be any colour you want them to be. Busey says, Brexit makes me feel 70 plus. I can imagine, mate. Being a Brit and living overseas must be a bit of a stressful time. And I'm sure the locals all hold you responsible as well. Right, I'm going to put a little bit more of that wildwood on the skin tone, just to darken it down a touch. I've also got a bottle of water here that I've just basically let warm up. Derek says, retirement is great for your wargame productivity. Bet it is, mate. The way I am now, I can't see me ever retiring. But there again, I'm not really sure I want to. I love doing what I do. I'm just not sure that's it. Although, to be honest, by the time I get into my 60s, being a 60-odd-year-old YouTuber is probably not there. I'll not be alone in it, will I? It just seems a bit weird. It seems a bit weird now. There's not a lot of 60-odd-year-old YouTubers at the moment. By the time I get to that age, I'm sure there'll be a few more. And bearing in mind, you'll all be in your 50s and 60s as well, so we'll all still be watching. Andrew says, really the whole I need X to look cool lifestyle disappears once you get a wife and kids. Do you know what it is, mate? I don't think it's about wife and kids. I think a lot of it is down to your circle of friends and the job you do and where you live. I think a lot of people feel that kind of like keeping up with the Joneses, kind of like my neighbour's just got a nice new car, I should get a nice new car, I don't want to have the worst car on the street kind of thing. And if your friends are all kind of like I've got a friend who basically his friends all work away on the oil rigs and stuff like that, and a lot of them are single still, like even in their 40s and stuff. They're either divorced or they're still single because they work away for 3 months and then home for 3 months, and they have a lot of disposable income, and they're all still kind of buying fancy clothes, and I think he feels the need to kind of keep up with them as well. Like I've never really felt that pull as I got older. Yeah, Radix says, I'm planning to save cash in my investments and invest it all back into tabletop gaming business. That's one way to spend your money, mate, that's for sure. Lord Maiden saying, take care. I need to make lunch and go to bed as I have an early start. Take care, mate. See you later. Busey saying, surprisingly, I've met lots of people I've worked for that live here full time that voted to leave, and now they're mourning they can't get pork pies and Scotch eggs. Well, I don't really understand why you would vote to leave when you're not in that country. But then I don't know. I don't understand what the reasons were. So, but it is a funny one. That right. I'm going to call that one done because I'm not going to do the base. I like to do the bases. I do them all together, and that way I don't screw them up. But yeah, so that's that one done. And somehow I now need to repair where I just dumped that one. But I think that's an easy, a clean cut, and a bit of glue will sort that one. That's not a problem. But yeah, that's we'll call that one done. And I'm going to leave all them paints out so that I can take a picture after the stream and know what colours I've used. Right, I might as well sit and chat for a little while. Let me turn that off. It's quite bright. Let's have a look at the chat and see what everyone's seeing now. Peter says, when you do YouTube at 60, you get a bigger screen for reading the chat. And us old buggers turn the volume up. That's what the little magnifying glass thing is, so I can kind of zoom in and make the text big. Marcus is saying, yeah, owning stuff has never been a thing to me. I used the bus until I was 26 and only got a car because my parents gave me an extremely used 8-year-old car, which I took care of until it finally died last month. I mean, I think I've been blessed that I've had jobs which kind of have given me company cars. So my job, like the jobs that I had a company car, and I've had some nice cars like that, which has kind of given me the opportunity to own a car I'd probably never afford to own myself. And now I realise that they're just cars. I don't really kind of, the idea of spending a lot of money on a car now doesn't really interest me, because I've, like, when I had my company, not the last car I had, but the one before that, was like a £52,000 car. Like, I would never spend £52,000 on a car. So like, having the ability to own and drive that and see what it's like to have kind of a luxury car was like, cool. But you put diesel in it and it drives you. Seats are comfy. Radio sounds nice. That's about it, really. That was all it was. You're exactly right there, mate. The best way to make a small fortune in tabletop gaming industry is to start with a large fortune. Yeah, mate. Yeah, the last journey all my cars make was to the scrapyard. Jim says, I've been using my big brush tonight and washing my 3D printed 40k scenery. You're smashing through that as well, mate. You're enjoying it. Yeah, Radek says, I hope it works out enough for me to leave corporate IT and do what I love. I tell you what, Radek, I can... Everybody's in a different boat, mate, and I obviously don't know your situation, but I can honestly say, like, I earn a lot less money than I ever did before, and like, probably, if I was to put it as a percentage, I probably earn probably about 15% of what I used to earn. No, it's probably not as little as that. It might be like with tax and stuff like that. Like before tax, it's probably about, I earn about 15%. After tax, I probably earn about maybe 25% of what I used to earn. I've never been happier. Money is not everything. Obviously, I still need to keep making money. I need to make enough to pay the bills. I need to make enough to make it worthwhile. Otherwise, I'll have to stop doing this and I have to go and get a job, kind of thing, like a proper job. But yeah, I've never been happier. I hope I never have to go back to doing that kind of stuff again. But at least it's the ball's in my court. It's up to me to work hard and make sure I don't have to do that. Marcus says, well, I get wanting to leave a country living with Trump as president. Marcus, I've been lurking all night while I was painting a Redemptor Dreadnought. Good night. Good night, Marco. Nice to see you, fella. Joachim says, time to sleep as well. Got some work done on the bony fellas. See you tomorrow, Joachim, for D&D. Peter says, buying a cheaper car makes all the difference to buying that shame pile. Yeah. Jim says, I got my first 40k game ever on Friday. What? First ever? I want to hear how it goes, mate. Yeah, and Stu saying, go James Bray there as well. Yes. Well, folks, I think that's as good a point as any to call it a night. So, thank you very much, everyone that's been in tonight. If you, as we've just been talking about, this is my full-time job now. This is what I do. I left my corporate world to pursue this as kind of something that would kind of make me happy, and it does. But I do need to kind of keep the lights on. So if you do want to consider joining the Patreon, it's patreon.com/BlackJack Legacy. This channel is community funded. I don't do any paid for videos. I don't take any payments from companies that want a product reviewing or anything like that. They send me stuff and I take a look at it, and some stuff I review and some stuff I don't. But it means that I'm not kind of held sort of obliged to review things for money, because everything is funded by the community. So if you do want to kind of check that out and help support, it's BlackJack Legacy it's not, it's patreon.com/BlackJack Legacy, and there's a link in the description below. So thank you every single person who's been here. Vijay saying his Loctite dried out. I have one of those issues as well, where the top of the glue, the lid of the glue was super glued to the bottle. Not good. So yeah, take care, folks, and I'll see you later. Thanks for watching my video. I hope that you really enjoyed it. And if you did, why not consider clicking on the suggested video below to see more of the work that I've done. If you'd like to support the long-term sustainability of this channel, why not consider checking out my Patreon, where you can pledge and support from as little as $2 a month. And there is lots of different tiers and bonuses, which will give you access to a private Discord server. It will give you free t-shirts, free mugs, a podcast every month, and a number of other things, including getting your name at the end of every video, like these awesome folks who already support me now.